guys, welcome to Coach Dave Academy. This is Suellio Almeida. We're going to see my lap at the Porsche Cup at Detroit. We're going to see the entire lap, and then we're going to talk about corner by corner. Alright, so going into this first corner, my reference is somewhere in between the 400 and the 300. Make sure you brake earlier on cold tires. So on the first, second, third lap, you brake around 400 and then around 350 when the tires are hot. And as always, peak pressure is my reference. So I give some time between the initial pressure and peak pressure just to make sure that I don't brake a little bit too late because of my braking reference being the initial pressure. So I prefer to have my peak pressure as a reference. And then as soon as you get on braking here, downshift very early because you want that engine braking to help turn the car. And then you start turning the car a little bit early, let's say, because there's no grip here. You have to turn in early and then keep trail braking. You can see I'm trail braking for a long time, then get back on power. There's a good reference here, which is this little drain here. I really want to be completely on top of the drain, as you can see, and even told it all the way to the end of this curve here. And as you can see here, still bringing the car as much as I can to the right and then changing direction before the change of color here from concrete to asphalt. And then I aim to touch the curb more or less towards the end of it when it's around almost when it intersects with the wall here. As you can see, I missed it a little bit here. I could have gained a tenth, maybe half a tenth to a tenth if I had gotten a little bit closer to the left here. So it was just probably like the change of direction was a little bit too late or too lazy here. I could have gotten back to the left a little bit earlier. And then using the throttle to rotate the car here, a little bit of a lift there, and then back. Make sure you have super light hands on the jump because you don't want to be turning too much when the car goes airborne and lands. You want to have the car almost going straight, the wheel almost straight. So like it's not straight, it's still going to be turning a little bit, but you just have to relax your hands to let the force feedback work. And then from here, we go all the way to this one. We're going to brake before the 400. So do not brake at the 400. It's not going to work. You're going to have to use the runoff. So before the 400, I already have my peak pressure. And then from here, we want to go to second gear and try to use this curb. I actually used less than I could here. You can actually use a lot more. Don't worry. The car is going to deal with these curbs. No problem. Make sure you try to cut more and more and more until you get some sort of penalty. Be it a physical behavior, the car not enjoying the curb or jumping too much, or you getting an off track because you get, for example, the center of the car on top of the grass. That's where you get the off track. So try to, in practice, of course, get more and more on the inside to make sure you are benefiting from cutting this curb. Then back on power, allow the car to go all the way to almost the grass. Just make sure you come back before here. You don't want to use this grass when the curb is done, because it might pull the car to the left and you kind of get lost, and it's very dangerous because you have to brake in the moment for the next corner. Then here, braking as close as you can to the grass, and then trying to clip this curb a little bit on power, allowing the car to go all the way to the left and then back immediately to the right, and you're gonna brake more or less parallel to this second part of the wall. So you can see I'm not parallel to this part, I'm parallel to that one here, because that's gonna be my turning point more or less to this left-hander. And then as I turn here, kind of a late apex and back on power, allowing the car to go quite close to this wall, and then back immediately. Do not go straight. Bring the car to the left right away so you can start braking here and try to get as close as you can to this wall, and then back on power quite early here. You see right here, I'm already accelerating. Why is that? Because the next corner, actually the next, I don't know, 30 seconds, we're going to be flat out. So if we carry more speed on this exit onto the straight, we're going to gain a lot of time. And then here, light hands, as you can see, the car bounces a little bit here. Boom. And then you can even see that I'm actually painting the track because the car, after the bounce, slides a little bit. So what I want to do is allow, with the light hands, the car to go all the way to the wall. I even left a little bit too much space there, actually. And then for this next corner, make sure you bring the car all the way to the right before aligning the braking zone to the wall after the 300. So you can see that the wall goes straight after the 300. You want to align to that and then brake here. And as soon as you start braking, relax your hands. Make sure you don't brake hard with the wheels still turning, because that is going to make you lock the front tires. And then you brake, you wait, you go to second gear, you start turning in. You try to use a little bit of this curb. I actually missed it a little bit. You can see me locking up a little bit on this jump. Just a little bit. But it was all good. And then you bring the car as much as you can here to the right. You don't brake too hard here. You go to more or less 50%, and then you're already immediately trail braking to the left. And very patient. Get back on power. Light hands. Allow the car to go all the way to the outside and get very close to the wall here. And then from here, you start turning in flat out, and then you start lifting, and then you start trail braking, and then a little bit of throttle. So you keep playing with the car to keep the car kind of balanced. And then from here, you downshift you first and let the car rotate as much as you can. Then get back on power and light hands, because there's going to be a jump here. Boop. You can see how, not a jump, a dip. The car falls on a hole in a way. So you want to have light hands. As you can see, my wheel is shaking even a little bit because I'm really letting the car do its thing on this exit. If you keep forcing the car to the right while getting back on power, you are going to lose the rear. And then from this one here, I'm going to brake a little bit after the 300 and try to clip this curb on the inside. I actually missed this one big time because I turned in a little bit too late. This car is lazy on this new tire model. And then get back on power, allow the car to go all the way to the wall here, and then a little bit of trail braking and turn in quite fast, because we're not doing a lot of trail braking. We're just a tiny bit of braking to point the car. So that's why we point kind of fast, and then back on power quite early. Get as close as possible to this wall, to this curb here, and then allow the car to slide all the way to the outside. And there you go. This lap time was a 1:30.6. There's a lot of time to be found just by being a little bit closer to walls and figuring out a little bit of the behavior of the car on the bumps. This was after driving around 45 minutes. So this is just a good reference for you guys to know what to look for when practicing. I hope you enjoyed this, and I will see you next week. Bye.